It's Tuesday, November 24th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, matchmaking in video games, not in other places.
Let's do this.
So, dangerous things have been happening.
How dangerous?
As I've said a couple times,
MD, most dangerous?
I joined that GMR, the giant multiplayer robot long-form game of Civ 5, and then basically I formed another one of those games for all of us. So it's like our crew, like 8 FRC people, playing Civ 5. And I play Civ 5 a lot when I travel, which against the AI, like it's not the same as against humans. But also, most of our friends have not played Civ 5 a lot recently, or have never played with all the expansions that made the game good. So the problem is, as a result, all of us started playing Civ 5 single player a little bit to like remember how to play.
Yeah,
so we don't fuck up in the game. It's like I'll play a bunch of turns in my fake game.
Yeah, I can play like 10 turns of a single player game over and over and over again and get really good at those first 10 turns. And I've only played like, 6 turns so far? 7? Not too many turns so far in the other game.
Exactly, but like it's weird. Playing against humans, like I care a lot more about how well it goes down. Like I really, like if Scott gets to a hut before me, fuck that. Like,
I can't lie. I've got a lot of huts.
I only got 2 huts.
If the computer doesn't fuck me, I'm about to get one more hut.
Watch out, though. That computer's... Well, like I said, AI gets bonuses, but AI is stupid. The danger is, multiple times in the last few weeks, and I'm sure I'm not the only one this happened to, I thought, well, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed soon. I'm just going to start a game of Civ and play like the first 20 turns, and then I'll quit and go to bed.
You mean the first 20,000 turns?
You mean, well, I won... It's turn 200.
Yeah, the old cliche of one more turn is because of Civilization. That's the game. There wasn't some other game with the one more turn. It was Civilization. That's the one.
I think what got me, though, is the last... So 2 nights ago, I'm literally just like, blah, blah, blah. And then I said to myself out loud, all right, just one more turn. And then I realized what I was saying, and I just quit the game without saving.
That's right.
Immediately. I was like, quit. No more.
That's right. Good move.
The problem is Civ 5 runs on my laptop. So it's actually...
Oh, this nice iPad here.
What I might do is I can bring... The thing is, unless other people also take their turns quicker, I could take the laptop to work, and if my turn comes up, I could just play the one turn
All
really
I want
quick.
is for me to take a turn when I wake up in the morning with some orangey and some breakfast, a little bagel, and I want, when I get home from work, or it's before I go to bed, one more turn.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, because that would be, it's nice, convenient little time,
Well, I'm going to try to take my turn right after the show. I'm not taking it while you're watching, because...
Why not?
Yeah.
And am I really going to learn that much in turn 5, 6, 7?
I'd rather you... If you want to find out what's going on in my business, you've either got to somehow convince me to give you open borders, or, like, risk sending a missionary into my biz.
Why don't we make an embassy?
If I meet you, I will maybe grant you an embassy for
mutual
a nominal fee.
Mutual embassy.
Mutual
embassy.
You know, it's interesting, because against the AIs... There's all these things that affect your relationship based on mechanics in the game. But against a human, it's just humans humaning. So, like, me spreading my religion to you is not going to make you look favorably upon me.
Nope.
I'm not going to go for religion, I think, though, so...
Religion's got too much complicatedness that I don't understand well enough.
There's 8 players, so only 5 religions can be founded.
Oh,
I believe.
I didn't know that.
So you could just let other
information.
people's religions come in.
And what do they do if they come in on me? Big
They
deal.
don't hurt you.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
But the person who's spreading them you get a boon, and the person spreading it gets like a double boon.
That's all right. I'll send my great musician to play non-religious music all over their country.
You going for the culture victory?
Who knows? But if I get a great musician and I don't have a spot for great music in my cathedral or some shit, guess where he going?
Yeah, it puts a lot of tourism. Because the thing is, if you get tourism early game, and there's some other players that don't have a lot of culture output.
What's the earliest tourism you can get?
There's some wonders.
It's not easy to get it.
There are some wonders that give it to you, like, right the fuck away.
Which ones?
I don't remember offhand.
I haven't seen any.
I never go for that. Also, the musicians will give a one-time tourism bonus, like, against one player, like, right away.
Yep.
But, yeah, I've been playing a lot of Civ 5, and I got to play a lot less Civ 5 while I'm playing Civ 5. So you got any news?
I do have some news. So I'm having a lack of, it's a little bit of video game season right now, staying inside in the cold. But I'm having trouble finding a multiplayer video game that, we'll talk about this in the main bit.
Yep.
But a multiplayer video game I can play online that is fitting the bills of the things that I need.
So what's your bill? Because Counter-Strike, like, there's still...
We'll talk about that later. But
Alright.
a game that I used to play a lot, multiplayer online, NS2.
Ooh, I stopped playing that a long time ago.
I stopped playing that a long time ago also. But NS2, Natural Selection 2, if you didn't know, they basically stopped updating it and let the community update it. And the Unknown Worlds, the company that makes it, said, all right, you community volunteers can work on NS2. We're going to work on this alien ocean game called Subnautica that's still being developed. And I'm excited for Subnautica, but it's not out yet, and I'm not really interested in the early beta play. I'm just waiting for it to be done. They decided, hey, you know what we're going to do is we're going to take some of those community NS2 people, and we're going to hire them as real employees.
Now, that is how Counter-Strike went from good to great.
That's right. And we're going to say, you know what? We are going to give you 3 months and see if you can, revive this game. Can you build the player base? Can you improve the game?
Now, that's real interesting because I have this, I loved Natural Selection. I played the fuck out of that game.
Yeah, it's like this game is still some mildly active, but can you... community people, if we hire you and that's all you work on, can you revitalize this game? And if you do, maybe sales of, new people coming in or, right?
Yeah.
So the the original team was 24 people. The current team is 8 people. Gaga. And if they can revive and at the first patch that they release, I'm going to go reinstall the NS2 and I'm going to see what's different since I played.
I will do that.
Probably a whole bunch. I'm going to see if anyone's playing it, and I'm going to go ruin their game because I'm going to suck.
The reasons I stopped playing NS2, one of them is something we'll talk about in the real part of the show, but the other part is I liked NS1 a lot, partly because it was kind of weird. It's I think I liked it for a lot of the reasons that people liked the original Dota. It's kind of jank and broken.
NS1 was jank. NS2 was...
Yeah, I'm saying NS, the original NS.
Natural Selection. Both NSs. Oh, man, I just maybe uninstall it when I get home.
Yeah, but the original Natural Selection was really fun, but a lot of things I liked were the kind of weird, broken bullshit things that would happen.
No, I liked the core gameplay.
Yeah, but I liked the core gameplay in the earlier days when the matches lasted a lot longer, even though it wasn't as good of a game in a lot of ways.
Well, that's a fundamental problem of gaming.
Yeah, but... the game, when they polished it with NS2, it felt a lot like when Civ 5 first came out before the expansions, because Civ 5 was the most polished civilization game you could possibly make. And as a result, there was no emergent gameplay and it was really boring. Civ 5 was not worth playing until Brave New World came out. So NS2,
had such people in
it, polished the game a lot. And I remember wanting to like it, but I ended up over time enjoying it less. But I think that's because of it also failed in the part we'll talk about next. Yeah, this is really interesting, though. I wish them the best of luck because the concept of NS is so solid. I love that game.
Yeah, it's they released Tribes 2 recently, or all the Tribes games for free legally recently.
Oh, right. We're going to get in on that.
But you still can't really play it online convenient. It's you can install it, but it's crashed for me, and you can't play it online conveniently. It's not, they didn't really put in the full effort of reviving it, setting up servers and all that kind of stuff, right? And,
I got to look into if there's a way to make that stable.
They just basically said, here's the setup.exe, and here's a CD key, and which you didn't even need to type in, and...
Yeah, but at least it's a setup.exe I can trust instead of setup.exe from BitTorrent.
I mean, I have the CD-ROM probably somewhere you could use.
Oh, I know where the CD-ROM is.
But anyway, but NS2, is a legit game you can play without those kinds of technical problems. And I'm sure there's someone playing it.
Yeah, I feel
if 8 people are that dedicated to the community that they would get hired, there's definitely enough people playing it.
Well, things that are hurting the community more so now. So, as you might have noticed, I've streamed twice. I'm going to finish the stream this week, possibly after Thanksgiving, because I got food to eat. But I've been playing Undertale, which is sort of a shmup / bullet hell / Earthbound RPG game.
All right.
Released by Toby Fox.
I don't know who that is. What else did that person make?
Mostly known for music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So does the game have really good music?
The game has an amazing soundtrack.
All right, there you go.
So amazing that you should probably just go listen to the soundtrack even if you never play the game.
It's on Spotify?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I have YouTube Red. It's good enough.
YouTube RedTube?
Yep.
Listen to it on the RedTube?
It's just YouTube Red.
But The game is really, really fun, and a lot of people I know are avoiding playing Undertale because they saw the fandom going apeshit about it.
Isn't it just like a 4chan Homestuck kind of thing, stylistically?
People say that, but no, it's not.
I get that feels from looking at it.
The Homestuck has this like incomprehensible nonsense story and all these like deep inside jokes.
Isn't it a fucked up internet shit kind of thing like you like?
Not even close. So it's more like Madoka, actually.
What?
Or imagine if Earthbound got...
Well, Earthbound has some of that, too.
Yeah, so imagine if Earthbound itself got the Madoka treatment and went kind of, what if this was really the kind of game you think it is? Like, let's go.
Okay.
But it's short, too. It's basically, the game is sort of, you're a human and you fall into the underworld and there's all this drama and you kind of go around and it's RPG combat, except you can fight or you can just talk to people like in a visual novel. And spoilers, the game pretty much says, like, in the beginning, you meet a great character, and she's like, maybe you should just talk to people. Like, maybe you shouldn't kill people. And you can kill people or not people. You can kill her if you want to. You can kill your mom, like, right away, and just go nuts. And you can kill fucking everybody if you want to. You can even kill that snowman you meet. Or not kill them.
Good.
And
Does that mean I don't have to do stupid RPG combat?
Yes, you instead, the RPG combat could boil down to a puzzle combined with a bullet hell.
But I still have to do it to talk to people, but even I don't kill anyone?
Yeah, you're going to fight people. It's just
but I don't want to fight people.
They'll be like, attack, and you'll be like, mercy. Or you'll be like, try to flirt with them, or ask them about their hat.
Oh, but then I have to do a puzzle or a
Well, no,
bullet
the puzzle
hell.
is, what do you talk to them about or ask them about? Like, you can figure out, if you're smart, the ways to get people to back off. And then in the fighting part, it's pretty much just bullet hell, move your little heart around.
I don't want to do that part.
Why not? Do you ever play Gradius?
Yeah, but if I'm going to play Gradius, I'll just play fucking Gradius.
Yeah.
Or G-Darius with the giant fish robots. Or
It's up your alley. Play the game up until Cool Dude happens with Papyrus. And if you don't laugh out loud at that
Cool
moment...
Dude and Papyrus, this sounds internet weird shit like your
Except
style.
it's not. Because when, internet weird shit, like the Homestuck fandom kind of nonsense, is kind of immersed in the obtuseness of itself. Undertale is not obtuse. It is direct. It is telling you what is going on. There's no, like, deep, unknowable mystery.
But aesthetically, it's all...
Aesthetically what? Why would you say it's weird? You're basing that solely on the fandom nonsense and not the game itself. The game itself is just characters talking to you.
I saw pictures of the game and it looked like that kind of stuff.
What defines that kind of stuff?
It's hard to define.
Yeah, I would not say it's that.
But I'll think about it.
I'll just say this. A lot of people are avoiding this game because of the fandom. Imagine all of you who are doing that right now if you avoided Steven Universe because of the fandom.
I don't judge anything by the fandom. I judge the thing by the thing.
Yeah, most people who are avoiding Undertale are avoiding it because of the fandom and because they see porn on Tumblr.
I mean, I don't care if 4chan people like a thing. They like Madoka too, right? It's like,
yeah.
They like Yotsuba. That's their mascot, but I love Yotsuba, right? It has nothing to do with the fandom. It has to do with, it looks like a particular aesthetic that is not my tea.
But I guess...
Of course, no tea is my tea because I don't like tea.
Will give you a bunch of nonsense that you basically need to read lore and like do about, like, it's not, you can't really just figure it out at face value. Undertale is not subtle. It has subtle elements, but it is not subtle. It is telling you everything, just like Madoka is telling you everything. You watch Madoka and it's like, toward the end, you can step back and be like, okay, that all makes 100% sense. Now that I figured out what the deal is.
You didn't figure it out. They told you what the deal was.
Yeah, but you figure things out and they tell you things at the end, and it all makes sense, and you could have figured out pieces along the way. Undertale is like that. Stuff happens, and if you read the words, you can figure out what's going on. It's not like Homestuck. The music it also really makes this game great, but I'm going to continue live streaming it, so if you're not convinced, I guess you can just watch my live stream until you figure out if the game is something you want to play or not.
Maybe I'll compete with your live stream and just stream Earthbound.
Ah.
Deal with that. You can't beat that.
Yeah, but Earthbound has random encounter fights for me to watch forever.
No, actually, Earthbound is the one great game in those
when
regards.
you eventually get high enough level, then
you definitely get high enough level right away.
Then those snakes stop
The snake is
bothering
just
you.
like, oh, a snake? Oh, shit, it's Ness. Get the fuck out of here. Hell no. Look at that baseball bat. That's a snake-beating bat. There's no seal club.
But the neat thing is that everything you do matters in a little way. Like at the end of the game, like stuff,
Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, well, way more than Chrono Trigger.
I'll stream Chrono Trigger. Deal with
more.
that.
Yeah.
Chrono Trigger.
I would not watch a Chrono Trigger stream. I watched the Chrono Trigger speedrun, and that was enough for me.
Ooh, I should watch that.
It was good. It was real good. real good.
How do you deal with the speedy bike part?
Yeah, they talk a lot about the speedy bike park.
Really?
That is not a happy time.
No.
But the crazy thing about it is how much randomness manipulation they do to make fights end quickly, because the character will be standing in the right spot at the right time because of some bullshit they did, like walking around before. Like, it was kind of crazy. I wish the game was that fast when I just played it. But yeah, I'm playing Undertale, and my official Geek Bite, having played a significant percentage of the game, is that it is definitely worth playing, and it's not even that expensive.
How much is it?
I don't even know. I just bought it on Steam. Like $10.
That's how much I'm paying for Fallout 4 next year.
Yeah, next year. I can play this right now. I might play $15 for Fallout if I get all the DLC in the package. But anyway, things of the day. So now I got weird internet shit for you. This is a mashup of the fights and the events of Undertale with the old Spice guy.
All right.
It's kind of great.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Just watch it.
Some dude, I think his name is Nick Luciano, because that's the name of his YouTube channel. But it might not be his name. His dad is an awesome dad. In this video, his dad performs the victory poses of all of the combatants in Street Fighter 2. That's the video. Dad must like Street Fighter 2 or be really willing to make a funny video with his son Nick.
That is so great.
Way to go, Dad. Great video. Nice doll theme.
Yeah. In the meta moment, Wheel of Time was the book club. We're still reading it. I'm like mostly done with the 5th book. Scott finished the 4th book. 5th book is when shit starts to
I'm
drag.
reading comics lately, so I'm just gonna. It's not Wednesday, but there isn't gonna be a Wednesday episode for a while. So I just want to let everyone know, Master Keaton is being published in English. I got volume.
Oh snap!
I got volume 4. There's way more Master Keaton than there is in the anime, even though a lot of it overlaps and it's just the same story.
Yeah. Is it worth reading compared to just watching all the anime?
Yeah, why not?
Because I like the anime a lot.
And Gundam the Origin manga is almost done.
Oh, I got to read that. I really got to read that.
So,
but otherwise, we're going to be at MagFest. Panels are like getting sorted out.
Am I going to be at MagFest?
Well, you're on a bunch of panels.
Am I?
Yeah.
My name's on there?
I put you on them.
Okay.
In fact, I can see. Well, I guess I can't announce what you're on right now, but
are they panels I can do?
I think so.
Without preparing?
Yeah. Scott,
Am I getting a badge? Am I not going to have like trouble when I go to get the badge?
Well, I'm going to send you another email because you got to sort that shit out because I have a badge.
I filled out the thing and I never heard anything.
Because, yeah, you waited like months before filling out the thing. I sent you that link like 11 times. This is why I'm the producer and you're the host.
I filled it out.
I'll sort it out. But yeah, you're on a bunch of panels.
I mean, I don't even really want to be on the panels. I just want to go
you
play some Space War.
Well, then you can buy a badge and just go, and I'll do all the panels.
Yeah.
I like being on the panels,
I don't want
actually.
to pay.
Yeah, but I put you...
If I'm going to pay, I might as well put quarters in the Space War.
I put you... There's an esports panel that we're both on.
Okay.
Just talking about like the current state. Basically, esports stuff.
I thought you weren't allowed to say.
Well, yeah, I'm not allowed to say anything scheduled or anything.
All right.
And probably redoing the far future of gaming. I did not put you on that one because what I plan to do...
Is Lecter Hasby going?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be on a bunch of the panels. But I'm going to record... I'm going to also video that panel if they let us do it at MagFest.
You know what? He actually called me randomly recently.
I was talking to him...
He was like in the city and he's like, hey, I'm near... And I was like, oh, wow. I was playing Netrunner. That's right. And he called me.
That was not recently.
That
was a while ago. I remember because Emily and I were not home. Like we were actually out of town and not like close enough to hang out.
That's right. That's when that was.
That was a long time ago, Scott.
All right. Well, anyway.
When you said recently, I was like, what, this week?
No.
Is he in town? Oh, shit.
No.
Go hang out.
Not that recent.
Do some stuff. But yeah, so what I plan to do, this is like secret spoilers for people, so you actually listen to the show, is I'm going to take the video of the Far Future of Gaming panel we had at PAX and the Far Future of Gaming panel that I hope we'll be doing at MagFest, combine them together, like the highlights and like the important answers instead of just here's a video of the panel. And then I'm going to interview some people as well. And instead of just putting up a video of a panel, it's going to be a documentary. Except it's only going to be like 2 hours long.
2 hours.
Yeah, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. We'll see what I cut it down into. But this is an experiment because
If it's a 2-hour documentary, is something that you should kickstart.
well, maybe I will kickstart it once I have like enough together. Like I got to make sure that I'll have enough content from 2 goings of this panel at 2 different conventions to be worth continuing and doing something weird with it. The reason I'm doing this because I've noticed that people watch the videos of our lectures, but almost no one watches the videos of panels on game design. They only watch videos of panels if it's someone who's famous just completely on their own. They don't give a shit about like a panel on game design for the most part. So I want to see if there's a way to make that popular or make that watched by people. That's my plan. Also, I'm just sick of putting up a video. Like, we did the same panel 15 times.
Right. Other meta things in the meta moment. This Thursday in the United States, in case you don't live here or know about here, is the Thanksgiving, which we talked about in a previous episode.
Yep.
Will there be a Thursday episode?
Only if we record one right after we record this. Otherwise, no.
Unlikely. So
Yeah.
look for Geek Nights in the early weeks of December, but probably not the late weeks of December or the early weeks of January.
Yep.
Probably in the mid-January, because I think the MagFest is in the late January.
Yep. And actually, end of January, February is rough because then we got PAX South, and I'm flying from PAX South.
Then Anime Boston and PAX East are coming right after that.
Yeah.
So I should tell work about those things.
I think I gotta finish sorting out the Anime Boston stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, Geek Nights. Join our Patreon and buy our t-shirt.
No, don't. Save your money.
So I don't play Rocket League that much anymore.
Well, I mean, I love Rocket League. It's a great game. But after playing it, like, I started playing it a lot, say the past week. I was playing it like hours a day.
Yeah, and because you were playing, I started playing again. In fact,
over the weekend, I played it a whole bunch.
2 nights ago, I just started up Rocket League. I was like, oh, Scott's playing, I'll play. And I hit find me a game. Matchmaker, find me a game. And I sat there for like 10 minutes with it not finding me a game.
Whoa, that rarely happens.
Yeah.
Usually it puts me in a game.
And it kept saying messages like, expanding the skill group we'll look at, expanding the regions. And then it put me in a game in Europe, so my ping was like 160.
Well, I've never had that happen.
And I
always get a game in the East.
And I was
East,
like...
And it doesn't take long to put me in a game.
I think it's because I haven't played much, so the matchmaking decided I was terrible.
Maybe.
So it matched me with people who... I'm bad at Rocket League, like, don't get me wrong. I was Neo compared to these people. So, yeah.
Yeah, so the thing is, we're just using Rocket League as the example because that's what brought this topic to
But
mind.
NS2 got fucked by this real hard
right,
as
there
well.
are basically almost no games ever to have gotten this right.
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike has it mostly right. StarCraft has it mostly right-ish.
Chess has it right.
Chess has a system, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the problem is matchmaking, specifically with online video games with random opponents.
Yep, with the situation
and it's even more so with random teams.
Yep.
And with just random opponents.
Which means Rocket League, NS2,
Right.
Counter-Strike.
So you would probably agree, most people would agree, Rocket League is a fun game. Or say basketball. Basketball is a fun game, right? But there is a problem, which we have talked about many times in the past, which is the air hockey problem. I'm going to go play some basketball. Let's say me and Rim play basketball. That'll probably be okay, right?
Yep, because we both suck. Like,
yeah, Rim is probably more athletically inclined, but
like Scott,
I have more basketball skills,
yeah,
I'm guessing.
My free throw percentage is like 12%. Like
I think I could make it like, ridiculous percent. I don't understand how NBA players have such a low percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, back when I was like in middle school, I was like, I basically didn't miss free throws.
I do,
can
because
stand there as long as you want.
You
and
don't understand
aim
how
real
bad I
carefully.
am at basketball.
Right, but anyway, it'll probably be reasonably fun. Now, basketball, the game, is fun to play, but if I had to play against LeBron, right, suddenly, even though it's the same goddamn game, because my opponent's skill level is so high, that is not fun. I'm not going to get to do any of the fun things that there are in basketball, like touching the ball, shooting the ball, dribbling the ball, blocking shot. I'll be able to do none of those things. LeBron will stand there. He'll be really tall. He'll shoot it right into the net immediately. I can't do anything about it because I can't jump that high to reach where his hands are.
Now imagine this is even worse in a team game.
Then if he gives me the ball and I start with it, he'll immediately steal it from me and there's nothing I can do about it. And then he'll put it in the net again.
Let's do it on a team instead. So it's 3 LeBrons versus 2 Jordans and Scott.
Yeah. Okay. So they, the 2 Jordan team is going to have a little trouble because who's covering that third LeBron?
Yep.
That third LeBron is pretty much just going to, there's no fight. Even, or how about this? A LeBron and 2 Scotts, right?
Yep.
Versus 3, college basketball players, average, they're good at basketball.
That might actually be a good matchup.
It's possible it could be a good matchup.
Wait, but here, even if it is a good matchup, Scott's not having fun.
Yeah, Scott's not having fun, first of all. Also, I'm betting on the LeBron and 2 Scotts. I think the game is such. There's an aspect of the game that, you look at, even in the NBA, a LeBron and 4 schmoes can beat 5 okay players.
Well, women's hockey is like that specifically too. Like if there's one player who's really good because the league does not support the players well, there isn't like a deep well to draw from. So if you've got 2 really good stick handlers, they just walk around scoring boop, boop,
Yep.
boop.
Exactly. So, in Rocket League especially, if you've got, I guess the Michael Jordan of Rocket League is this guy named Kronovi. So if Kronovi's on your team, it's Kronovi and 2 Scotts, right? Well, all right, no, Kronovi and 2 rims versus 3 Scotts.
The 2 rims just sit in the goal.
The 2
doing
rims
nothing.
and the 3 Scotts will do nothing, while
Yep.
the Kronovi just puts the ball in the net repeatedly. Boom, 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 go, go, and there's nothing we can do about it no matter how hard we try.
Now, what's interesting is that I was blind to this problem when I was in high school because I got really into FPSs and I played them all the time.
Yep.
So I was in that upper top tier in capture the flag kinds of games. So to me, when Team Fortress 2 came out way later, I didn't like it because all I could think of was, wow, I'm really good at this game, and now Team Fortress 2 just hobbles me. It doesn't let me use my skill.
Right.
So I'd be the dude with the grappling hook, flying around. If I get the flag, I capture it, and no one can stop me unless I'm playing on a private server with a bunch of pros.
Right. But anyway, so in any skill-based game, regardless of what the game is, if it is a game that is truly testing skills, the game will only be enjoyable, even if the game itself is a really good game. A skill game is almost universally, regardless of your taste. I mean, you might really like getting your ass destroyed by someone way better than you, or you might be a real asshole and really like beating up on players who can't put up a fight. But most people, the majority of people, do not enjoy that. They enjoy a good matchup, right? A skill-based game becomes interesting and fun when, it's slightly challenging for both players. Both players have a chance to win, right? And there's some meaningful competition. Me running a race against Usain Bolt is not interesting to spectate or participate in. But Usain Bolt versus whoever is the second fastest, but not as fast as Usain Bolt, becomes interesting because it's maybe that guy improved since the last time we saw them race.
Now, take ice hockey or American football, an example of a game. Because the games are so widely played, there are so many levels of play, from the NHL all the way down to the local
KHL, the AHL.
No, local kids playing ice hockey on a pond in the
Right.
middle of Canada.
Yep.
So no matter how good or bad you are at that game, there is a wide community of people who have the exact same skill level as you.
Or relatively.
Yeah.
You might have the young Wayne Gretzky on your, elementary school
But then
team.
he could compete with people in a higher tier. That
Sure.
tier exists.
Right.
But with a video game that hasn't reached, in the old days where Quake 2, that was it. That was the game. So everyone playing FPSs were playing Quake 2.
Right. So if you have a skill-based game and you have random players on the internet playing, teams or not, you need to somehow figure out how good people are and put them in games against other people of similar skill levels. Otherwise, no one's going to have fun playing the game, even if the game itself is basically Rocket League really doesn't have that many flaws.
Yeah.
It's so simple and pure. There's really nothing wrong with the game.
But it's not so widely played
Right.
that there is a wide body of players at every possible skill, let alone a good way to rank players' skill.
Right. Well, there is a good way to rank players' skill. It's called Microsoft Team Score, which is the best way that's been invented so far, and is pretty good. But they don't use that. But anyway, so the problem is how with the teams and the random players, how do you figure out how good someone is, what team to put them on, and when there's not enough players in your area of a similar skill level. Rocket League, it says, in a few minutes, as time goes by, we're going to expand the skills we will consider. So
Great. So now it's LeBrons and people who literally don't have a controller.
right, they will rather than make you wait for a half hour for like 5 other people of your skill level to show up and play with you. They will say, all right, fine, we'll just play a game with who we've got, even though their skill levels have a disparity.
Now, as I noticed, there aren't people that it determines to be at my skill level because it always does that to me immediately when I join a game.
Right, well, I mean, I have a higher skill level than you. I say a moderate skill level. I'm like, I know how to play.
Yep.
I can control the card reasonably well. I can't do too many fancy aerials and hit. I make mistakes occasionally because I'm not perfect and I'm an old man with slow reaction times. But I, strategically, like I stay on the right side of the ball. I make a lot of saves. I generally, in the general patterns, right? I'm slightly below average, mediocre type player, but I got the shit down. And every single game I play, I was actually writing them down for like 10, 20 games in a row.
No.
Every single game, either A, someone on the other team had a skill level. There wasn't anyone like Credovi level doing, ridiculous aerials. They were just slightly better than everyone else or having a really good game somehow. And that allowed them to score like 4 or 5 goals. And now it was meaningless. Our team should forfeit. Sometimes we did. Sometimes some idiot refused to. So you had to waste the rest 2 minutes of our lives waiting to lose, right? Sometimes someone on our team was the best player and totally crushed the opponents, and I just sat in the goal to blocking some shots maybe, but the ball didn't even come to our end of the field because this good player on our team was able to keep the ball on their end of the field and just keep scoring, and I just watched myself win, which was also boring as hell.
Now, part of I can already see the problem.
Right, and once I was the best player, and I just went and scored like 3 goals, and I didn't let the other team score. I was able to get all the way back down the field and defend before they could get the ball back there, clear it to their end, and score. Like, I was just like, wow, I'm really in control of this game. Did I get a lot better? And I tried that in the next game, doing the same thing I did in the previous game. And I wasn't able to because this really good player on the other team just came and fucked me over all the time.
So
it really was a situation where I got matched up with people way under me.
Right now on Steam, there are like 300,000 people playing Dota 2 and like 250,000 people playing Counter-Strike.
So that is a critical mass right there.
And Rocket League is not even in the top 10. Rocket League's got about 17,000.
Right.
Rocket League is under Grand Theft
and
Auto,
that's
The Binding of Isaac.
17,000 is all Rocket League players online right now. So when I play Rocket League, I'm only choosing the solo queue.
Yeah.
Right? The solo queue has less than 2,000 people in it
Civ
usually.
5 has twice as many people playing on a daily basis as Rocket League.
Right, and this that's not counting the PlayStation 4 players, I don't think.
Good.
Who also are playing against.
Yeah,
right?
but I don't think it's much better over there.
No, it's not really any different. But yeah, this is like, so even though Rocket League is a great game I want to play, if you don't have enough people of the same skill level, then you can't play, it's not worth my time. And also, even if there are enough people at the right skill level, you have to figure out who they are. Right? This is the real problem is, how do you figure out who these people are in a reasonable way? Well, if you're only playing one-on-one matches, we have a system for that. It's called ELO. It's not perfect, but it's
ELO, because it's not an acronym. It's just a dude's name.
That's fine, but I like to talk about the Electric Light Orchestra.
Yeah.
They're really good at help. They know a lot about this sort of thing.
But yeah, one-on-one, there are many different algorithms that can pretty objectively say, here's the ranking of players in order.
Mm-hmm.
But even then...
It works really well in tennis. It's super accurate.
That only helps you if there is a deep well of players to draw from.
Mm-hmm.
As the well gets shallower and shallower...
But I mean, the Rocket League well is deep enough for the one-on-one ranking system.
Maybe. The problem is, if a game has a very high skill cap, a game like a Counter-Strike or a Rocket League or a Weapons Factory or a Dota, then what you'll see is it's not like saying I am the 108th strongest person on Meepros Island. The 107th strongest person might be 100 times better than me.
That's true.
You'll see that there'll be clusters of players in a few bands and huge gulfs between them.
Usually that has to do with the mechanics of the game. For example, in Counter-Strike, it's like they'll be like sort of like it's like you're good at Counter-Strike, you got the fundamentals down, and then like you master like actually aiming.
Yep.
And so it's like this particular skill that if you learn it, like puts you way ahead of people who have not learned that particular skill. So there'll be like this huge gap between people who don't have it and people who do. Like in tennis, it's like if you learn the backhand and you can actually control and hit a decent backhand, suddenly that puts you way up.
Or like the serve. Like when you learn how to do a real serve instead of the tennis serve that most people do when they play tennis casually,
so
it's just like ace, 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 ace.
There's like individual skills in these games that when you master them, or at least develop them to a reasonable level, launches you into like a huge, there's this huge gap between people who have that skill and don't. And since there's multiple skills, there's multiple gaps, right, in between the groups of people who have or do not have, these skills developed within themselves. So in Rocket League, it's aerials. If you can, perform aerial maneuvers, hit the ball when it's way up in the air,
then you're Neo.
Precisely.
Like,
then you're way ahead of all these people who can't, and like it launches you way, way up there. And then people who can not only do that, but also when they hit the aerial, can hit the ball towards the enemy net.
That will never happen
with accuracy on a consistent basis. That puts you in the pro level, right?
Yep.
So
if you see a game that has banding very distinctly, where there's a bunch of players in these top tiers and a ton of players way at the bottom and big gulfs between them, it's a self-fulfilling cycle that will only get worse because anyone who gets good enough to get past those first bands will have no one to play with, so they'll never get better.
Right. It's like if you can do a serve in tennis, you can only play against opponents who can also serve well and return the serve. Otherwise, it's like anyone who doesn't have that particular skill, it's just like not even going to play with you.
And if there's only 17,000 people playing on Steam, like the odds of finding a team of people, we haven't even gotten into how to rank teams, of a similar skill level for you to practice and get better are negligible. In Counter-Strike, 250,000 people, I think the peak was like 600,000 people playing the game. I'll just hit rando game and I'm pretty much guaranteed to find some people.
All right, so Rocket League has teams, and here's the problem. When you have teams, it's hard to just use some ELO system that's only based on winning and losing, because did I win because I happen to have LeBron on my team? Am I going to get credit for that? Did I lose because LeBron just happened to be on the other team and that reflects nothing about how good I am, right? You're trying to figure out this my particular skill level, but the only data you're using is whether my team won or lost. Maybe I'm really good. I just had two really shitty teammates who really screwed it up for me, and I'm not LeBron good, so I couldn't win it on my own. But if I had two other people as good as me, we could have beaten that opponent team. It's like, but you're judging only on the wins and losses, whether my rank should go up or down. And that's a problem with teams. You need something more advanced. You need more advanced data to figure out somebody's individual skill level when they're on a team.
Now, Counter-Strike has a very clever, modified ELO system that it uses to rank teams based on your contribution to the team and all these other factors.
Right, so it's theoretically possible that even if your team loses, your rank could go up if your individual skills are improving. You just happen to get put on shitty losing teams all day. Your rank could still be up at the end of the day, because you made major contributions to that team, and it can tell, oh, you were just unlucky, your teammates ruined it for you, right? Because it's judging you individually despite the fact that you're on a team.
Yep, because you can sort of do this diff. Even you can imagine algorithms that will look at the way a person is performing. All right, this guy played on 10 different teams. All the teams did worse when he was on them compared to similar teams without him.
Professional sports have been very, very good at this for a very long time. Even before we had advanced analytics, we had just regular player statistics, right? They knew Wayne Gretzky was the greatest, even though he was on the LA Kings and didn't win anything except for when he was on the Oilers, right? Because they're like, oh shit, he scored 1 million goals. His team just fucking sucks, so he lost. They can tell. You can watch the games and tell, and you don't even need to watch them to see. You can just look at the statistics and be like, wow, this guy scored more goals than anyone ever.
Yep.
It doesn't matter that his team lost 1 million games. Clearly, he is an amazing player, right? And now we have advanced analytics that tell you even more data than that, where we can be like, aha, yeah, this pitcher is the greatest pitcher. In terms of that, they have all these crazy statistics now, WARs and all kinds of nonsense.
Well, hell, look at fantasy sports.
That mathematically and relatively empirically, calculate real numbers that tell you the value of that player. You will be expected to win this many more games if this player is on your team.
Yeah.
Right? regardless of and that like you'll see nowadays, like in baseball, like people will win the MVP award or like all kinds of trophies and awards at the end of the year, like Golden Gloves and all these things, even though their team sucked ass, because they can tell how good the player is based on all these statistics and analytics they have, which aren't bullshit.
So I guess the moral of all this is games that want to have a competitive scene. And it's interesting is this primarily only applies to like esports and video games.
Skill games. If it's not a skill,
no, because board
Hearthstone,
games
you don't need this because in Hearthstone it's mostly luck.
like German style, like tabletop board games that we like to play don't need this system because
there's no teams.
Well, even single player, you still need it, like single player games, but
sure.
You don't with board games as much because those games tend to have a very short cycle. Like anyone who plays them enough and pays attention will go from I don't know how to play to I'm a near master of this game in a relatively short span of time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and the skill cap isn't super ridiculously high. It's like you can't keep getting better at
like if you play
Puerto
Fresh
Rico.
Fish, which is a pretty good game,
right,
20 times. There is not much you can do to get better.
And
at
if
that
you're
game.
if you're smart enough to play Fresh Fish, enjoy it, play it 20 times, and get better at it, right? Then you're smart enough to master it. Right?
Yep.
I can't imagine someone who could play Fresh Fish 20 times, want to play it, understand the rules, play it well, and wouldn't master it. Yeah,
like by the end of like the Civ 5 we're all playing, like we're all going to be pretty good at Civ 5.
Yeah.
But a game that has dexterity components, execution components,
there's
very high
no
skill
limit
caps,
to how good you could be.
There's a theoretical limit.
Right, but it's like there's no hockey player in the league now who's Wayne Gretzky good. And it's still possible someone could be even better than that. There's no reason you couldn't be. Just no one has been.
Like the laws of physics, there could be a person who just reacts to pucks faster and is an unstoppable goalie.
Right.
Like, that could happen.
It's
then
possible.
what? You know what? I want that day to I want that day to come. I'd love to see the god goalie.
Yeah. And so we have the king goalie.
Yeah.
You want to know something sad? How old is Heinrich Lundqvist?
Oh my God. He's got to be what, like 31?
Heinrich Lundqvist is 2 months younger than me. Older than me and younger than you. He was born in March 1st, 82.
Yeah, the thing is, you want to feel real
It might
bad.
be March 3rd, 82.
Look at the ages of F1 racers.
It was early March 82. He's pretty much just our age. And meanwhile, he's like the king of this town. And we're just two nerds across the river doing a podcast.
Yep.
And he's basically the same age as us. We had just as much time. We could have done that, and we'd be in his shoes right now.
But we didn't.
Well, I don't really like getting pucks flung at me.
Yeah, you can kind of ice skate, though. So you got that going.
Yeah, I could wobble around.
You've ice skate wobble around?
I can't even skate backwards.
I've seen you wobble around, though. That's a start. That's better than a lot of people.
I have to relearn it every time.
So think of this. You need, if you have a video game that you want competitive multiplayer to exist
and
in.
it's a skill-based game.
With
a high skill cap.
For a period of time beyond the very beginning when you first release your game, you need to somehow, one, maintain a deep and wide body of players, and two, have an accurate matchmaking system to ensure that those players continue to play.
And you need to err. If someone wants to play the game, they say, find me a game, you cannot ever put them in a game where they are mismatched. You should just make them wait, even though they are waiting.
But if you make them wait, like I do...
That's why you need the large body of players.
They'll give up, and then you don't have the wide body of players
Right, you need the wide
anymore.
body of players to decrease the wait time, because there's a limit to how long someone's going to wait. But you should still err on the side of waiting rather than playing a bad game, because if someone has a bad experience... They're going to hate your game and blame it on your game, even though your game is perfect or really good, like Rocket League, and the matchmaking is just awful.
But no matchmaking system will protect you from if the player base is already stratified and is small. Like NS2...
You can always reset it.
The reason I couldn't play NS2 much is that I didn't get in on the ground floor of playing the betas a lot because it didn't work that well. By the time the game was stable, there was a set of people who were like unto gods compared to me, and no one else. So if I joined any game, I was that shithead ruining it for the team.
Yep.
Even if the matchmaking was perfect, it would have said, Rim, you're the cheese. You're going to stand alone.
That's right. So the one major I want to just comment one last thing, which is how these games are doing it now, specifically Rocket League and Hearthstone, even though Hearthstone's not skill-based.
I'll talk about Team Fortress 2 as well.
Right. Is they're making this, the ranking system they are using here's the problem with it. So Rocket League is a grinding ranking system. It's not right? Theoretically, let's say I'm a natural at Rocket League. I'm as good as Kernovi, and I play Rocket League a few times, I learn it, and then I'm just God, right? It's going to take a long time for my rank to go all the way up to where it belongs.
Well, because our grinding rank system
because basically
is
every
bullshit.
time my team wins, I get a few points based on, they adjust it a little bit based on how good my opponents are, how good I, and things like that. But if my team loses, even though I may have displayed my godly skills and scored 5 goals, maybe my teammates own gold 6 times, I'm going to lose points even though I displayed my godly skills in that game. So I just have to keep playing tons and tons of fucking games before the game has recognized me at the true, skill level and pair me up against players I should be playing against who are also godlike. The same thing with Hearthstone. It's like my brother is really good at Hearthstone. He plays it way too much. But he didn't get to Legendary until like last month. He was so proud. But it's like I could get to Legendary too. You know what changes my rank from season to season Hearthstone?
Whether or not you play?
How much I play.
Yep.
If I play a lot of fucking Hearthstone, I can get up to like single digit ranks. I'm at like rank 8 or 9 now. But if I don't play a lot, then it's like, no, I should be able to play like 5 games of Hearthstone, and after trouncing 5 noobs, it should shoot me the fuck up to like rank 5 where I usually, where I kind of belong, right? Because the system is based on grinding, it's like, some games I randomly lose.
The reason systems are based on grinding is because a lot of people, they need to feel a sense of progress even if they are not actually progressing. Like in Counter-Strike, I only progress through the ranks if I do well. Otherwise, I do not progress through the ranks.
Yep.
But a lot of games will grind up whatever indicator it gives you of how good you are, so you get a little bit of reward every time you play.
Well, in Rocket League, they actually have 2 separate measures.
Yeah, because they're trying to give the people who don't understand these things, like, most
people don't even play the ranked mode, which is why it's hard to find matches. But in the ranked mode, your rank goes up and down as you win and lose. Right, which is bullshit, but it should be based on your individuals. We talked about that already. But there's another thing that goes up no matter what, but it goes up more if you score more and goes up more if you do better. But it only goes up, and that's sort of like your experience, and you unlock like skins and all that kind of bullshit, and your label changes from like pro to veteran to expert to, and it's like that only goes up, and like you're basically grinding that no matter what. It's like, get rid of the fucking grinding bullshit. Just figure out my true skill level.
People want that grinding because someone who is not getting better at a game,
and someone who is not a person who it's possible to like a skill-based game like Rocket League because it's way fun, but not be the kind of person who cares about ranks and skills and improving.
Here's my counterpoint, but it assumes that people are making poor decisions. There's a lot of people.
They shouldn't be playing that game.
But you really need them to be playing, or you'll have even fewer players and more gaps.
But if you just make their thing constantly go down because they suck ass,
they'll quit. Because those people want to see their rank going up. They want it's like the people who play an RPG. They want to see the number go up because they've played longer. That's why MMORPG players get so fucking mad when someone buys levels or buys gold, because they feel like they got cheated because they ground that shit out.
Right. Grinding's got to go.
But you, at the same time, psychologically, there are people who will not play your game unless you give them a reward for grinding.
Because people, they should just play a different game. There need to be games for serious people and games for not serious people. So I have a crazy idea.
All right.
I don't know. Did I say this on the show before?
Maybe. You might have said it in a panel.
Maybe. I don't think I said it in a panel because it's too crazy. So you should have a game with serious mode. And in serious mode, you have to make some sort of deposit.
That idea.
Did I tell this idea on the show?
I don't think so.
Anyway.
You've said it in the forum a bunch of times.
Right. And I've definitely said it online a bunch.
Because people are really mad about it.
They're so mad. I don't know why they're so mad. So you have to make some sort of deposit because you agreed to serious mode, right? You're serious enough that you're going to put money down. We're going to keep your money. We're not going to spend it.
The money's in escrow.
It's a deposited money to just guarantee that you're in serious mode.
Like the game cost $100. $50 was like you bought the game, and $50 is sitting in escrow.
Right. You don't have to play serious mode if you don't want to. It's entirely optional, right? We only want serious people in serious mode. Serious people who are serious enough to put a deposit down. Once you're in serious mode, right, we're only going to let you play with people who are also in serious mode because you're all super serious.
Which means you're only playing against super pros who care a lot, meaning that
people who care enough to put money down in serious mode. So now matchmaking should be, already we've separated people who are serious enough, right? And you can always withdraw from serious mode if you want. You know, we can give you your money back. Once you're in serious mode, shit is serious, right? If you like, you know, a bad sportsmanship, we're just gonna penalize you in money. We're gonna take your fucking money, right? It's like, oh, you cursed at that dude? $500 fine. Fuck yourself.
Counter-Strike does already have that with the cooldowns, in that if you were unsportsmanlike in ranked games and people rat you out, then basically you get a cooldown where you can't play for 30 minutes.
Yeah, no,
if you
that's
do
not good enough.
If you do it again, it's like 2 weeks. If you do it again, it's like a month. Like it escalates rapidly.
No, I want to take your fucking money.
Why though?
Right?
That's not the people being shitty to each other is not the problem.
It is a problem, and
it is not the problem.
But
with
there are
matchmaking,
other things I'm going to take your money for. For example, what if you just quit a game? You rage quit.
Yeah,
I'm going to take your fucking money because you rage quit. Fuck
but
you. You're ruining serious mode.
None of these things fix the matchmaking problem.
They can fix the matchmaking problem because by punishing people with fines for all these transgressions, you're basically guaranteeing that people are going to come play the game seriously. So we can assume all these things that we basically can make a good ranking system even better because we have all these assumptions that are now truths, right? People aren't going to be scoring own goals on purpose to fuck up our ranking system. People aren't going to be rage quitting to fuck up our ranking system. Everyone's actually trying to win.
I don't think those things are fucking up the ranking systems.
But I mean, they're not fucking up the ranking system because the ranking system is garbage to begin with.
Yeah, but I'm saying like
it will make our good ranking system even better by not having to account for even those things.
Among the like 15 people who are in the serious mode.
If your game is really good, hopefully you'd have a lot of people in serious mode.
I would not put money down in Rocket League serious mode if that existed.
You're not seriously enough for that
game.
No,
I want to be serious at the game, but I would not trust that there'd be enough people who put money down for it to be worth it, and the non-serious mode already has a terrible matchmaking system.
I guess the thing is you don't really have a game that's like, I guess that's your game for all time. But like if there was a serious mode online netrunner with a good user interface, I'd be serious mode.
Well, Counter-Strike is kind of that
Would
for me.
Would you pay for Counter-Strike serious mode?
No, because serious mode already exists and works great and doesn't cost money.
It's okay.
What's wrong with it?
It's not perfect.
What is not perfect about it that your system fixes?
That people just be shitty, come back and be shitty again.
No one does that though.
People you rage quitting.
No, people don't rage quit serious games. When they do, they get punished, and actually, it's a pretty bad punishment. And the only way to get around those punishments is to pay for Counter-Strike again. They get penalized monetarily.
I thought you said that they don't get penalized monetarily.
Yeah, if they keep fucking up, they got to buy a new Steam account.
Oh, okay.
And buy Counter-Strike again.
That's the same as what I was saying.
Yeah, it's already there. But that is not the problem.
I thought you said they just had to get cool off.
Yeah, the cool offs keep escalating.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, it escalates and escalates. But the problem with the matchmaking there is just that there's a top tier of super pro people and a bottom tier of terrible people and a big gulf between them. Your system doesn't fix the fundamental problems that are affecting most actual games in the real world. You're solving the last 1% problem.
Well, obviously, in serious mode, you're only going to be playing against people, really close to your skill level, and you're willing to wait.
No, because only a limited number of people bother to put money down.
Yeah. The people who are so serious that you want to play with.
So I'm a noob, but I want to be serious.
Right. Well, there's something else to consider, right? Is that depending on the game, like take, for example, like especially a board game, like something like Puerto Rico, right? It's like, I guess there's someone out there who's even better at Puerto Rico than us. We probably can't beat them.
We haven't played in a long time. Like,
sure.
I don't remember the full sequence of my,
there
opening five.
There may be, let's say you got 5 board gamers, right? And there's, and they're all at 5 different skill levels with definite gulfs between them.
But if the 5 of us play Puerto Rico 5 times, by the end, everyone's near the top tier.
Well, maybe. But, even in that first game, there's a huge gap between, let's say, who's like someone we know who's like can play board games but isn't godlike. Right?
All right.
And then
I can imagine that person.
Right, okay. And then I'm like the 3rd, and then the 5th is some like genius person who's like, amazing. He's just gonna win no matter what, right? And we all play Puerto Rico together. Well, even though our skill disparities are so big and it's a skill game, and that person in rank 1 is gonna win, that will still be an enjoyable time. Right? Because we're all serious. You go to a Netrunner tournament, and you're going to meet up with someone
so Scott,
who's way better than you, but you're serious and they're serious.
But when I play Rocket League, I'm in a lot of games where everyone's serious. It's just the skill gaps are so wide that the game is terrible and unplayable.
The skill disparity is way bigger than it is in a board game.
Yeah. But I'm saying if the skill disparity were wider in a board game, like there are board games like Glory to Rome.
Age of Steam is the one you want to talk
about. Or Glory
to
Rome. If I've played Glory to Rome so much that if I play it with someone who like it's their first time playing, it is not fun.
They don't get to do anything?
They don't get to...
I mean, Age of Steam is just like I got eliminated on turn 2 or 3.
Yeah, I got eliminated not too long after you. I remember that game.
I think it was the same turn.
Yeah. I think I made it one more turn because I had like $1 left.
Okay. But yeah, this is one of those things where if you have a game... this meta thing that's like out, it's like you made the perfect game, but then you ruined it because you messed up this meta thing.
Well, I think that there's a much
matchmaking.
higher level of discussion that needs to be had here. Look at a game like Team Fortress 2, which despite only having like 40,000 people playing it, like
doesn't have this problem because the skill disparity is lower because it's not a skill-based game.
The game itself does not reward individual skill much beyond a pretty low bar. So the things it rewards are teamwork. Imagine the Team Fortress 2 version of Rocket League would be a game where no matter how good you are at aerials, if the other team has someone who's
everyone has auto aim on their car, so if you go towards the ball, you're going to hit it.
So the game
and if
comes
you hit
down
the ball
to,
in the air, you're going to hit it towards the net no matter what.
So it's like in hockey, if choosing what line and who to pass to mattered, but everyone had the same skill at passing. The Wayne Gretzky can't pass better than the... he
can't shoot harder or more accurately.
Yeah, or he can't shoot much harder. Like, he's 2% more likely to score when he shoots.
The percentage of goals that go in when you shoot are equal.
Yeah.
Goalies are all, block a relatively equal percentage of shots.
So for a team game, that is a way to address the problem by pulling down the individual skill, but ensuring that that is not replaced by grinding or nothing. It has to be replaced by team coordination matters. Like in Team Fortress 2, if a bunch of Rims and a bunch of Scots play against each other, it would be a dead 50-50 match. The skill would be, do the Rims coordinate like when they attack better than the Scots? That kind of thing. Do the Rims like switch classes at the right time and there's this balance going on? So that is a way to get around this problem, but it becomes a very different game. Team Fortress 2 is a very different game from Counter-Strike as a result.
So if you make a skill-based game, get the matchmaking right. The Microsoft Team Score I talked about before, right, is a pretty good system. It's not perfect, right?
Yep.
But there are many systems out there for doing better, analysis of individual player skill, team-based or not, right? Sports, I already talked about, advanced analytics. We can determine how good someone is, even if they're on the losing team.
Yep.
And then try to pair people up as much as you can
that's it.
with people of equal skill level.
The second problem of the depth of players is almost an afterthought. You have to get the matchmaking as good as it can possibly be day one.
Like Rocket League, it's like they can do a lot better than they're doing even without getting more players.
If they don't do better, then increasingly...
It's making me not want to play the game even though I really like the game because I can't get a good game on because I don't get matched up with people.
But it's easy to not see the problem because if you already got past that gulf, like, if you're good enough at Counter-Strike or good enough at Rocket League, then you find a great game every time you play. Or...
No, you don't, because it's really... even games where I beat up everyone, it's kind of boring. I want to play against an evenly matched, tight game.
See, Scott, the other thing is those people form a team. If you're in that tier, like Counter-Strike...
But I'm not good enough for that.
Yeah, you're not past the level. I'm saying if you get past that bar, if you're over the waterfall... You're not falling back down the waterfall. There's like a paradise of you get your 3 friends and you play the perfect game all the time with other teams that are similarly serious.
Well, no one wants to organize.
Yeah, but the only way to avoid that problem is either to flatten the playing field somehow, Team Fortress 2 style, or to have the best possible matchmaking from day one. And then hope
you can always reset your matchmaking and start anew with a perfect system if you messed it up to begin with.
To a degree, unless you lost players who won't come back.
Sure, I mean, yeah, you may have lost players who won't come back.
Those critical first few weeks, you've got to make it so that...
But you can still, as long as you have people playing, you can always just reset all your ranking system and install a new one and do things the right way.
As long as a pro can join and in a reasonable amount of time be matched pretty much only with pros, and a complete noob can join and always have games with noobs, and someone who's old like us can join and at least have a reasonable game 80% of the time.
Right.
That's your best shot at keeping the depth of play enough to keep your game going.
Right. Also, even if you don't have enough players, if your ranking system is good enough, you'll get more players playing more, and that will fill it up, right? If your ranking system is bad, you're only going to make it worse. It's a self-fulfilling or helping kind of thing.
Yep. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night.
And the patrons this week are, and it's kind of hard to read all these, as I've said before. So once again, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong week after week, email me, rim@frontrowcrew.com. If you never guessed my email address, that goes directly to me, and I will not only fix it, but I will apologize. But this week we have Rebecca Dunn, Nicholas Brandow, James David White, Christian Kuntz, Jess, Mechanical Mind, Renee from New Zealand, Robert Lee, Ryan Perrin, Drew Oppenlander, Rare Laval, Brian Cedrone, Rochelle Mantanona, Finn Eric Solverod, Rim Eats Poop, Edgar Mendez, William Eisenrose, Chris Midkiff, Chris Knox, Flame Darkfire, Samuel Cordery, Daniel Redmond, Chris Haddad, Doug Snyder, Sean Klein, Chris Reimer, and Thomas Hahn. So, as you know, the Front Row Crew, a bunch of us are playing a sort of private Civ 5 game on the giant multiplayer robot. I highly recommend it. Like, I don't want to promote it or anything as an official, like, hey, do this thing, but it's pretty legit. And Scott keeps trying to see what I'm doing on my turn. So I can't take my turn until he leaves after Geek Nights. So I'm trying to think of a way to use the fact that he's trying to see this to trick him into doing something bad. But that might require me to craft a save file where it looks like it's my turn in that game, but it's really a fake game I made, so I can put myself somewhere different. And if you have any ideas of how I should trick Scott with this, because I'm going to gotta go to the bathroom before we do the main bit, and he'll notice that Civ 5 is kind of open in the background, and I'm hoping he'll click on it and see what's going on in my civilization. I really want to roll him at a critical moment, like 80 turns into this game. In other Patreon news, I did start pre-production on Geek Nights Presents Utena 14. I have been fighting off so many DMCA takedowns on those videos. You have no idea, but so far they're all still up, and we are continuing with episode 14. I'm doing pre-production now, and it's all because of you guys, donating money on our Patreon. So really, seriously, thank you. We can't keep doing the cool stuff like Geek Nights Presents Utena without something other than just doing the show. And the Patreon is a big step. If Geek Nights Utena goes well, and that documentary I was talking about doing also goes well, thinking about making maybe even drastic life changes that really push Geek Nights to a big level. And if the Patreon was not here, I would not have the confidence to go forward with that. So now, as always, your moment of literally the opposite of Zen.
Hey, I read somewhere that mathematicians can turn a sphere inside out.
Yes, that's true.
What's the big deal? Just poke a hole in it and pull it through.
Sure, but the point is to do it without making a hole.
But then it seems impossible.
You're right. You cannot do it with an ordinary sphere, like a basketball. You have to understand the rules of the game. This sphere is made of an abstract elastic material that can stretch and bend and pass through itself. But you cannot rip or puncture this material without destroying it, and you cannot crease it or bend it sharply.
If the surface can pass through itself, what's the problem?
Do you think allowing self-intersections makes it easy? Try it.
I'll push the two halves right through each other.
Be careful. What about that ring around the equator? Remember, you mustn't tear or crease it.
Let me try again.
That's no good either. You're pinching it infinitely tight.
But then there's no way. It's impossible. You'd have to crease or pinch it to turn it inside out.
It is surprising, but watch this.
Is this it? Is this a sphere turning inside out?
And then I said to myself out loud, all right, just one more turn. And then I realized what I was saying, and I just quit the game without saving.
That's right.
Immediately. I was like, quit. No more.
That's right. Good move.
The problem is Civ 5 runs on my laptop, so it's actually...
Oh, this nice iPad here.
What I might do is I can bring... The thing is, unless other people also take their turns quicker, I could take the laptop to work, and if my turn comes up, I could just play the one turn
All I
really
want
quick.
is for me to take a turn when I wake up in the morning with some orangey and some breakfast, a little bagel. And I want, when I get home from work, or it's before I go to bed, one more turn.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, because
Well,
that would be, it's nice, convenient little time,
Well, I'm going to try to take my turn right after the show. I'm not taking it while you're watching, because...
Why not?
Yeah.
And am I really going to learn that much in turn 5, 6, 7?
I'd rather you, if you want to find out what's going on in my business, you've either got to somehow convince me to give you open borders or like risk sending a missionary into my biz.
Why don't we make an embassy?
If I meet you, I will maybe grant you an embassy for
Mutual
a nominal
embassy.
fee.
Mutual embassy.
Ah.
Mutual embassy.
You know, it's interesting because against the AIs, there's all these things that affect your relationship based on mechanics in the game. But against a human, it's just humans humaning.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, me spreading my religion to you is not going to make you look favorably upon me.
Nope.
I'm not going to go for religion, I think, though, so...
Religion's got too much complicatedness that I don't understand well enough.
There's 8 players, so only 5 religions can be founded.
Oh,
I believe.
interesting. I didn't know that.
So you
Learning
could just let other
information.
people's religions come in.
And what do they do if they come in on me? Big deal.
They don't hurt you.
Yeah, so what's the problem?
But the person who's spreading them you get a boon, and the person spreading it gets like a double boon.
That's all right. I'll send my great musician to play non-religious music all over their country.
You going for the culture victory?
Who knows? But if I get a great musician and I don't have a spot for great music in my cathedral or some shit, guess where he going?
Yeah, it puts a lot of tourism. Because the thing is, if you get tourism early game, and there's some other players that don't have a lot of culture output.
What's the earliest turn?
It's Tuesday, November 24th, 2015. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, matchmaking in video games, not in other places.
Let's do this.
So, dangerous things have been happening.
How
as
dangerous?
As I've said a couple times,
MD, most dangerous?
I joined that GMR, the giant multiplayer robot long-form game of Civ 5, and then basically I formed another one of those games for all of us. So it's like our crew, like 8 FRC people, playing Civ 5. And I play Civ 5 a lot when I travel, which against the AI, like it's not the same as against humans. But also, most of our friends have not played Civ 5 a lot recently, or have never played with all the expansions that made the game good. So the problem is, as a result, all of us started playing Civ 5 single player a little bit to like remember how to play.
Yeah,
so
of
we
course.
don't fuck up in the game. It's like I'll play a bunch of turns
Right,
in my fake game.
I can play like 10 turns of a single player game over and over and over again and get really good at those first 10 turns. And
Yup.
I've only played like, 6 turns so far? 7? Not too many turns so far in the other game.
Exactly, but like it's weird playing against humans. Like I care a lot more about how well it goes down. Like I really like if Scott gets to a hut before me, fuck that. Like
I got
that's
a lot.
war.
I can't lie. I've got a lot of huts. And
I only got 2
If
huts.
the computer doesn't fuck me, I'm about to get one more hut.
Watch out, though. That computer's... Well, like I said, AI gets bonuses, but AI is stupid. The danger is, multiple times in the last few weeks, and I'm sure I'm not the only one this happened to, I thought, well, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go to bed soon. I'm just going to start a game of Civ and play like the first 20 turns, and then I'll quit and
You
go
mean
to bed.
the first 20,000 turns?
You mean, well, I won it's turn 200.
Yeah, the old cliche of one more turn is because of Civilization. That's the game. It wasn't some other game with the one more turn. It was Civilization. That's the one.
I think what got me, though, is the last... So 2 nights ago, I'm literally just like, blah, blah, blah.
People, gaga. And if they can revive, and like at the first patch that they release, I'm going to go reinstall the NS2. And I'm going to see what's different since I played. Probably
I will do that.
Probably a whole bunch. I'm going to see if anyone's playing it, and I'm going to go ruin their game because I'm going to suck.
You know, the reasons I stopped playing NS2, one of them is something we'll talk about in the real part of the show. But the other part is I liked NS1 a lot, partly because it was kind of weird. It's like I think I liked it for a lot of the reasons that people like the original Dota. Like, it's kind of jank and broken.
NS1 was jank. NS2 was...
Yeah, I'm saying NS, like the original NS. Natural
but
Selection.
both NSs... Oh, man, I just maybe uninstall it when I get home.
Yeah, but the original Natural Selection was really fun, but a lot of things I liked were the kind of weird, broken bullshit things that would happen.
No, I liked the core gameplay.
Yeah, but I liked the core gameplay in the earlier days when the matches lasted a lot longer, even though it wasn't as good of a game in a lot of ways.
Well, that's a fundamental problem of gaming.
Yeah, but the game, like when they polished it with NS2, it felt a lot like when Civ 5 first came out before the expansions, because Civ 5 was like the most polished Civilization game you could possibly make. And as a result, like there was no emergent gameplay and it was really boring. Civ 5 was not worth playing until Brave New World came out. So NS2,
We've had
like
such people in it.
polished the game a lot. And I remember wanting to like it, but I ended up over time enjoying it less. But I think that's because of it also failed in the part we'll talk about next. Yeah, this is really interesting, though. I wish them the best of luck because the concept of NS is so solid. I love
so
that
good.
game.
Yeah, it's like, well, you know, they released Tribes 2 recently, or all the Tribes games for free legally recently.
Oh, right. We're going to get in on that.
But you still can't really play it online convenient. It's like you can install it, but it's crashed for me, and you can't play it online conveniently. It's not, you know, they didn't really put in the full effort of reviving it, setting up servers and all that kind of stuff, right? And, you know,
I got to look into if there's a way to make that stable.
They just basically said, here's the setup.exe, and here's a CD key, and which you didn't even need to type in, and
yeah, but at least it's a setup exe I can trust instead of setup exe from BitTorrent.
Well, I mean, I have the CD-ROM probably somewhere you could use.
Oh, I know where the CD-ROM is.
But anyway, so yeah, but NS2, you know, is a legit game you can play without those kinds of technical problems, and I'm sure there's someone playing it.
Yeah, I feel like
if 8 people are that dedicated to the community that they would get hired, there's definitely enough people playing it.
Well, you know, things that are hurting the community more so now. So, as you might have noticed, I've streamed twice. I'm going to finish the stream this week, possibly after Thanksgiving, because I got food to eat. But I've been playing Undertale, which is sort of a shmup / bullet hell / Earthbound RPG game.
All right.
Released by Toby Fox.
I don't know who that is. What else did that person make?
Mostly known for music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So does the game have really good music?
The game has an amazing soundtrack.
All right, there you go.
Like, so amazing. You should probably just go listen to the soundtrack, even if you never play the game.
It's on Spotify.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I have YouTube Red. It's good enough.
YouTube RedTube.
Yep.
Listen to it on the RedTube.
It's just YouTube Red.
But the game is really, really fun. And a lot of people I know are avoiding playing Undertale because they saw the fandom going apeshit about it.
Isn't it just like a 4chan Homestuck kind of thing, stylistically?
You know, people say that, but no,
I
it's not.
I get that feels from looking at it.
The Homestuck has this like incomprehensible nonsense story and all these like deep inside jokes.
Isn't it a fucked up internet shit kind of thing like you like?
Not even close. So it's more like Madoka, actually.
What?
Or imagine if Earthbound got...
Well, Earthbound has some of that, too.
Yeah, so imagine if Earthbound itself got the Madoka treatment and went kind of, what if this was really the kind of game you think it is? Like, let's go.
Okay.
But it's short, too. It's basically, the game is sort of, you're a human and you fall into the underworld and there's all this drama and you kind of go around and it's RPG combat, except you can fight.
What is it you can get?
There's some wonders.
It's not easy to get it.
There are some wonders that give it to you, like, right the fuck away.
Which ones?
I don't remember offhand.
I haven't seen any.
I never go for that. Also, the musicians will give a one-time tourism bonus, like, against one player, like, right away.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Civ 5, and I got to play a lot less Civ 5 while I'm playing Civ 5. So you got any news?
I do have some news. So I'm having a lack of, it's a little bit of video game season right now, staying inside in the cold, but I'm having trouble finding a multiplayer video game that, we'll talk about this in the main bit.
Yep.
But a multiplayer video game I can play online that is fitting the bills of the things that I need.
So what's your bill? Because Counter-Strike, like, there's still...
we'll talk about that later. But
All right.
a game that I used to play a lot, multiplayer online, NS2.
Ooh, I stopped playing that a long time ago.
I stopped playing that a long time ago also. But NS2, Natural Selection 2, if you didn't know, they basically stopped updating it and let the community update it. And the Unknown Worlds, the company that makes it, said, all right, you community volunteers can work on NS2. We're going to work on this alien ocean game called Subnautica that's still being developed. And I'm excited for Subnautica, but it's not out yet, and I'm not really interested in the early beta play. I'm just waiting for it to be done. They decided, hey, you know what we're going to do is we're going to take some of those community NS2 people, and we're going to hire them as real employees.
Now, that is how Counter-Strike went from good to great.
That's right. And we're going to say, you know what? We are going to give you 3 months and see if you can, revive this game. Can you build the player base? Can you improve the game?
Now, that's real interesting because I have this, I loved Natural Selection. Like, I played the fuck out of that game.
Yeah, it's like, this game is still some mildly active, but can you... community people, if we hire you and that's all you work on, can you revitalize this game? And if you do, maybe sales of, new people coming in or, right?
Yeah.
So the original team was like 24 people. The current team is 8